Arches of the foot are known as the anatomical masterpiece of the body. And out of all those arches, the medial longitudinal arch is considered to be the most important arch of the body. Here in this video, we are going to discuss the detailed anatomy of the medial longitudinal arch and how is it supported. Welcome everyone. Myself, Dr. Ankit Khandelwal, MBBS and MS in Anatomy. This is my YouTube channel, Anatomy Explained. I also run Facebook pages and groups. The links of those are there in the description box below. Welcome to the topic, medial longitudinal arch. How we have divided this topic, that is what are the learning objectives. So first we are going to look for the location, that where are the arches located and what is the role of these arches. Then how the arches are formed. Particularly we are stressing over here about the medial longitudinal arch. So that is the most important arch. Then after it is formed, how is it being supported? And a little bit of the applied clinical aspect of the arches. So let us start with the location and the role of the medial longitudinal arch. So location of the arch or the medial longitudinal arch is obviously in the foot part. But where in the foot? In the plantar surface of the foot, or we can say the on the sole side of the foot, or the inferior surface, inferior aspect of the foot. That is where we have the arches. That is the location of the arches. Second thing is, what is the role of these arches? Now the main role of these arches are that it helps in walking on the uneven surface. So when we walk on the uneven surface, then this arch, it helps. How? It forms a very mobile structure which act as a springboard during walking. So springboard is a flexible structure which has a spring in, just below it. So when we walk on an uneven surface, then it acts as a springboard, means that it will help the sole of the foot to adjust to the uneven surface. Point number one. Point number two is that when you walk, it gives a push like a springboard. So that is the main role of the arches. Because the footwears which we wear these days, they have not come, they were not there from the initial time when the humans were evolved. So during all those years, when the humans used to walk barefoot on this earth, then the arches of the foot were the main structures which were helping them to stand, to walk, to run, to jog, to hunt, to do all the things which we do during walking. So that is the main role of the arches. So location is on the plantar surface of the foot, and the role is basically for walking on the uneven surface. Then how are they formed? Now arches of the foot, particularly the medial longitudinal arch, basically you can also feel it. Basically we have the bones over there. So what are the bones of the foot? The main bones of the foot are the tarsals, and anterior to tarsals we have the metatarsals. So these are the two main constituent of the bones which are forming the arches of the foot. In front of the metatarsals we have the phalanges, but yes, they may also play a role, but the main role for the arches is by these two, that is a combination of tarsals and metatarsals. Now what happens is, once we look at the general shape of the articulated tarsals and metatarsals, then the shape is like a half dome. Shape is like a half dome which is concave inferiorly, So that is the general shape you'll see in the few figures also. So shape is like a half dome which is concave from the inferior side. That is the general shape. So main formation is by the bones of the foot, tarsal, metatarsals. Let us see in an X-ray now that how is it formed. If you look at this X-ray over here, that is the AP X-ray of the foot. Now the main arch over here is our medial longitudinal arch, or we can say simply the longitudinal arch. So the longitudinal arch which will obviously run longitudinally, that is anterior-posteriorly. So the ankle joint, if you remember, ankle joint was mainly formed by the lower end of tibia and fibula, which articulates with the talus. So talus over here, it forms the summit of the arch, or it is also known as a keystone of the arch, because it is sitting at the summit, at the highest point. From this talus, the weight is transmitted, because the weight of the whole body is being placed on this talus. So from this talus, the weight is being transmitted into different areas. The weight may go posteriorly, the weight may go anteromedially, the weight may go anterolaterally. This is the medial side, that is the lateral side. How we can see the phalanx, the first metatarsal, the thickened first metatarsal. So that is the big toe, so that lies medially. So weight can go in these places. So the longitudinal arches are formed by basically into two types. One is the medial longitudinal arch, which we are discussing right now, and one is the lateral longitudinal arch. The lateral longitudinal arch nearly sits flat on the surface, but it is the arch which is basically formed by the medial longitudinal arch that mainly forms the arch of the foot. So let us see what are the various bones involved in this medial and lateral longitudinal arch. The medial longitudinal arch, if we highlight, then it is formed by the bones which are the calcaneum behind, the talus obviously. Then with the talus we have this navicular. In front of navicular we have the three cuneiforms, and with these three cuneiforms we have the three metatarsals. So these form this highlighted, this yellow highlighted area, these form the area of the medial longitudinal arch. And therefore in this medial longitudinal arch we have a posterior pillar that is formed by the calcaneum, and an anterior pillar which is formed by the head of the metatarsals. So the bones over here these are the metatarsals, and these whole are our tarsals. But which tarsals? At the summit we discussed that was the talus. Below talus we have this heel bone that is known as calcaneum. Talus anteriorly articulates with the navicular bone over here, and the calcaneum anterolaterally articulates with the cuboid bone over here. In front of navicular we have the three cuneiforms which are known as the medial cuneiform, the intermediate cuneiform, and the lateral cuneiform. And these cuneiforms, they articulate with the first, second, and third metatarsal. The cuboid articulates with the fourth and the fifth metatarsal. So these are the bones of the foot. And this yellow highlighted zone is representing you the location of the medial longitudinal arch, or the bones involved in the medial longitudinal arch. While the bones involved in the lateral longitudinal arch, if I show you with the green highlighted area, then it would include the calcaneum, with calcaneum anteriorly articulating with the cuboid. With the cuboid it is articulating with the two metatarsals over here along with their head. So these are the ones which are actually forming the lateral longitudinal arch. But this is very less important compared to the medial longitudinal arch, so we'll confine ourselves to the medial longitudinal arch. Again, medial longitudinal arch composed of the bones which are calcaneum, which are talus, which sits at the summit, also known as the keystone, which are navicular, which are the three cuneiforms, and the three metatarsals. These are the ones which form the medial longitudinal arch. If you look at it separately in the medial form, in the medial view, then this is how it appears. So you can very well see that this was our calcaneum, and talus was the one which was forming the ankle joint, because above it you have the tibia and fibula. Talus is articulating anteriorly with the navicular, and these are your three cuneiforms and the three metatarsals. So this arch over here, that is your formation of the medial longitudinal arch. You can see in this diagram that the bone which is sitting at the summit, that is our talus. Its head is like a rounded shape. It forms a sort of ball and socket joint with the navicular. So that forms a ball and socket type of synovial joint. The calcaneum on the other hand, it is forming a sort of saddle joint with a cuboid. So calcaneo-cuboid joint is said to be a sort of saddle variety of the synovial, and the talonavicular joint is said to be a sort of ball and socket type of synovial joint. This is how the arches are formed, mainly the medial longitudinal arch. You can see it is concave inferiorly, it is like a half dome. Now the main thing comes at how are these arches supported? What are the supportive structures of these arches? How they remain like this? Because it is nearly not less than a magic that all your life, your whole weight is being placed on those arches, and these arches still remain like a half dome. They don't collapse. They don't normally collapse. If they collapse, then we call that as flat foot or pes planus. That is applied aspect. But all your life you walk, you run, you jog, you stand, you do all those activities with your lower limb. Even then, the arches are maintained. So there has to be some supportive structures which are supporting these arches. What are those supportive structures? Those supportive structures fall into three categories. And those three categories are the bony support, the ligamentous support, and the muscular support. So if we talking basically of the medial longitudinal arch, the bony support we saw that it is due to the wedge shaped of the talus bone, which is also known as a keystone, frequently comes in the question. So that is the shape of the bones. So bony structure is due to the shape of the bones. But if we talk of the supportive structures, the bony component is very less, or the contribution given by the shape of the bones to support the arch is not much. The main supportive structures in the longitudinal arches are our ligamentous and muscular support, and this muscular support is said to be indispensable for the maintenance of the medial longitudinal arch. So let us see what are these ligamentous and muscular support. So first of all, let us know their names and what are these. Ligaments over here, they will basically be just a ligament below the head of talus, which is known as the spring ligament, also known as plantar calcaneonavicular ligament. Then other ligamentous supports are small ligaments between the tarsals, but one of the main is the medial side of plantar aponeurosis. That is the main ligamentous support. About the muscular support, the main muscular support are the tendons of the flexor digitorum longus, which is coming from the posterior compartment of the leg, its medial part, and same or more important than that will be the tendon of flexor hallucis longus, which is again coming from the posterior compartment of the leg. These are two main tendons. Apart from these two tendons, we have other smaller muscles also, which are the muscles of the sole of foot, which are obviously on the medial side, that is towards the great toe. So we call them as abductor hallucis. Muscle. Then we have the medial half of the flexor digitorum brevis muscle. Apart from these, we also will be having the long tendons of what? The long tendons of muscles which are coming down from the leg, and they act like the suspension bridges. So those long tendons are your tendons of tibialis anterior as well as tibialis posterior. Then we have the tendon of the peroneus longus. These all are actually helping in the supportive structures of the arches. We will see them subsequently, but first of all we should know what are these. So bony structure we saw. Let us see the ligamentous. Ligamentous support, as we said, that this was the talus, that was the calcaneum navicular. So first ligament was the spring ligament. Location of spring ligament, also known as plantar calcaneonavicular, so it is over here. This ligamentous structure over here, connecting the calcaneum and the navicular from the plantar surface, that location is of the spring ligament. So it is supporting the head of talus. So head of talus should not go down. So if this spring ligament is not efficient, it will stretch and collapse. So the head of talus will actually start to go down, and the arch would start to collapse. So very important ligament. Then on the inferior surface of the sole, we have this whole plantar aponeurosis. Which goes from the posterior pillar to the anterior pillar. This location would be the medial part of the plantar aponeurosis. This connects both the pillars. It also is said to be like a tie beam support for the arches. Now there is a mechanism which is known as a windlass mechanism. What happens in this mechanism is, if you dorsiflex your toes, the plantar aponeurosis, it tightens up, and it will try to bring these two pillars close to each other, and the arch actually is more arched. The medial longitudinal arch, the arch of it rises. So during dorsiflexion of the toes, there is an increase in the concavity of the medial longitudinal arch. The mechanism known as windlass mechanism. Basically, it is due to the stretching of the plantar aponeurosis, which brings these two pillars. What are these two pillars? Posterior, we have the calcaneum, and anterior pillar is by the head of the metatarsals. It is by the head of the metatarsals. That is a windlass mechanism. So ligamentous support, you have a spring ligament, you have a plantar aponeurosis. About the muscular support, as we just saw, the main muscular support is by the tendons. If you look at this X-ray on the lateral side, lateral view, then the muscles over here will be basically the ones which are coming from the leg region, from the posterior as well as the anterior compartment. So here we look at the bones, and this forms our calcaneum, that forms our talus, and here you have the head of talus. So this would be our navicular. Calcaneum is articulating laterally with the bone over here, that is cuboid. These location would be the cuneiforms, and here you have the metatarsals and the phalanges in front of it. Now if you look at the tendons, the one tendon which we said was the most important was the tendon of the flexor hallucis longus. Why? Because it is going medially. So flexor hallucis longus is a very very big muscle in the posterior leg. It goes down, it forms tendons over here, and then it turns around the ankle, and then it goes just underneath the sustentaculum tali. So this, if this is the flexor hallucis longus, you have to remember one more thing. It goes just below the sustentaculum tali. So it makes the sustentaculum tali part of the calcaneum. It is a bone as a pulley, and then it will go in front. It will attach where? It will attach on the sole of the foot, where? Towards the base of the distal phalanx of the great toe or the first toe. So that is where flexor hallucis longus, a very important tendon. Then we have the flexor digitorum longus also coming from the posterior aspect of the leg. The tendons of flexor digitorum longus are going to cross FHL. They will be going laterally. They don't go exactly below the sustentaculum tali, but yes, they go behind the medial malleolus. And those tendons of FDL, which are going to the medial toes, obviously they will be also supported. So these are the tendons which are supporting the arches, mainly talking about the medial longitudinal arches. Then we have a couple of more tendons which are meant for inversion of foot. We have a tibialis anterior coming from front, and that goes where? That goes into the cuneiform as well as the first metatarsal. This is your tibialis anterior tendon, very important. Tibialis anterior tendon. Same, we have another tendon. Let us mark it different color now. Tibialis posterior. That comes again from behind. That is the posterior compartment of leg. It will again turn around the ankle. It will go forward. It mainly inserts into all of the tarsals except the talus. Remember, talus, this bone talus over here, has no muscular attachment. It is only ligamentous attachments. Therefore, the tendons of the tibialis posterior, I'm just writing over a T dot P, tibialis posterior. It goes into the tarsals, it attaches to all the tarsals except the talus, and the main tarsal in which it attaches is your navicular. So it will go like this. Basically, these are the long tendons which are supporting the arches. So these tibialis anterior, tibialis posterior, which are not going farther to the distal area, they act as suspension bridges because they will be supporting the arches like this. They will be pulling the arches up like this. And these long tendons which are going towards the anterior pillar, they act like a tie beam, just as our plantar epineosus. So when they contract, they keep these two pillars close to each other so that the arch is maintained by these suspension bridges. So tibialis anterior posterior acts as suspension bridges or suspension sling. And these long tendons with the plantar epineosus, they act as what? They act as a tie beam connecting the two pillars. And remember that windlass mechanism. So we come back again. We had the main three supports. Don't forget that: bony, ligamentous, and muscular. The bony is due to the shape of bones. It is important, not that important. Ligamentous is very important for the support of the arch, and muscular support is actually indispensable. Indispensable means if the muscles paralyze, suppose there's any neurological deficit in the leg region, and the muscles of the posterior leg or the anterior leg or both, they paralyze. Suppose there is a we can say the tibial nerve injury or the common peroneal nerve injury or combined injury of the sciatic nerve, when the leg muscles are paralyzed. Then even if the ligaments are fine, even then the arch is sag down, means arches, they start to collapse. So muscular support is the most indispensable support for the arches of foot. Ligamentous is very important. Bony support is also there, not as important as the ligamentous and muscular support. Okay, so this was all about the basic anatomy of the medial longitudinal arch, because that is the most important. It is having the highest curve over there. And a little bit of applied part. Basic applied is, you all must be knowing that you have the flat foot. When the arches they collapse down, there's flat foot. So if you take an impression, if you come out of the washroom with your feet is wet, if you take an impression on the floor, then basically the impression on the floor, it appears somewhat like this. That medial border, you don't have an impression because that is lying above. That is not touching the surface. So medial borders lie above. You have this impression that appears like this. On the medial side, the medial border is not touching the surface. But if there is a flat foot, then this appears. The impression on the surface appears like this. So what is the problem over here? The problem is that when the arches collapse, then there are various nerves and vessels inside the sole. They will start to compress. Not just we have a problem in the sole of foot. That is, obviously there would be a problem. Compression of neurovascular structures would be there. But the whole alignment, because it is the base of your whole body, the whole alignment of the lower limb joints, they start to differ. They start to go, or they start to be away from the normal aspect. That is, you have a problem. The patient will have to start having problems in the ankle joint, not immediately, but yes, after a few years. Slowly he will have problems in the knee joint. Slowly he may have problems in the hip joint. Ultimately he may have problems in his or her vertebral column, because if you can see that this is supposedly the whole alignment, this is supposedly the whole alignment. Now the whole alignment has actually shifted medially, so therefore there's a shifting of this knee, shifting of the hip joint, and subsequently the vertebral column also, they are all aligned. So therefore chronically the patient may develop arthritis and all, apart from immediate problems in the neurovascular bundles. So this is just one aspect. There are many other clinical aspects. So this was about the basic anatomy of the medial longitudinal arch, the most important arch. How is it formed? How is it supported? Very, very important. And pes planus of flat foot, that is very important. There are two other terms which I wanted to tell you over here. One is known as the supination of foot, and one is known as the pronation of foot. Supination and pronation of foot. These are widely used in place of the inversion and eversion. Supination of foot is actually combined movement of the foot, which includes the plantar flexion, that is toes going down towards the sole part. Okay, then you have the adduction of the foot, that is foot going towards the midline, and you have the inversion of the foot. Inversion is when the sole starts to face medially, that is your supination. The opposite of these movements is what we call as pronation. Pronation, we have the dorsiflexion, we have the abduction, and we have the eversion. Eversion is when the sole starts to face laterally. These two words are more oftenly used in the case of ankle joint movements or the foot movements than the eversion and inversion. For the eversion and inversion, they don't occur normally, they don't occur in isolation, but it is combined movement. That is our supination pronation. So that was all, guys, about our medial longitudinal arch. I hope you liked the video. If you like, then click on the like button. Comments for any topics you want, share the video, and if you have not yet subscribed, then consider subscribing the channel. Thank you. Stay safe. Bye bye.